Tier 2 is the buildup of the actual community element. At Walled Lake, we are in a bit of a disadvantage being a consolidated district. I live in Northville. Everybody here is going to become a Mustang. My husband works in Brighton. Everybody who goes to Brighton elementary schools and middle schools are going to become a Bulldog. In Walled Lake, it's not that way. Because we're a consolidated district, we have a lot of cultures, a lot of different cities, a lot of different ideals coming into our schools. And our feeder schools don't necessarily have that connection to the high school. We want to build that connection. So the way it'll work is that 7th hour outreach program will be based on an hourly ability to go back out and serve. If kids aren't involved in sports and they have a lot of after school time and transportation, we would start engaging those students in the elementary schools and the middle schools, however those schools needed their assistance. I've met with a couple of the principals at the elementaries, and I've met with the staff at Walnut Creek, and all of them are very interested. There's definitely a need at those levels for some assistance. One of the ideas was coming in to tutor kids, or a reading buddy, utilizing the PBIS curriculums and ideas for behavioral management, and having my students who have been through the leadership course model that for kids. Show them that spontaneous trait transference and excluding kids isn't the way to make friends. Hearing it from us is one thing, but hearing it from kids who are already at the high school level is going to make a big difference. My students want to give back in that way. That's what interests them. They are so excited about working at these other levels of the schools that's what makes me think that this is the biggest unharnessed resource that we have. They want to help. And kids these days in high school have a bad rap, and I don't think people could be more wrong about that assumption. What I see day to day is a group of kids that just simply doesn't have the skill set or the knowledge to get out into the community. So having one person or a couple people who can guide them in that direction will connect us back out with the folks who support us all the time. The kids who will work at the elementary and middle schools and tutoring, and we'll figure out how the programs run because we have to design it. That's kind of what this first semester is about. But the second part of it is having a social emotional, not curriculum, but opportunity to talk with students at the middle school levels. So I'm a future Viking at the elementary schools, since the elementary schools kind of purely feed into the high schools. The middle schools get a little bit mixed up. So we're going to walk away from that for those years, and there'll still be concurrent events and activities that we'll participate in, but the focus will be more bringing in speakers and people who can show them that it's okay to spend some social capital and that you don't need to exclude people to be a part of the group. This will hopefully decrease the stress levels and teach them skills that they can use to befriend and stop bullying, instead of thinking that that's going to get them ahead and increase or better that bond between their friends. Kids don't realize that what they're doing when they exclude somebody is just putting themselves at risk for that same exact behavior. No one's ever taught them that, and it's not their fault. Their parents don't know that. People don't know this. And it's time for, I think, the leadership staff and the kids to start showing them, to start teaching them. We can't depend that they're already going to come into Walled Lake schools knowing some of these social emotional ideals. It's our responsibility. It's my responsibility. It's my students' responsibility to make sure that we meet the problems that we have before they become bigger.